Hello friends, welcome to my channel, myself Parag Jambulkar. In this video, we will see arrays in C++ programming language. In previous video, we have seen different data types in C++ programming language, right? So here you can see, this is big picture of different data types in C++ programming language. Here you can see, array is a derived data type. Array is a derived data type. What is the meaning of derived data type? Data types which are derived from the other data types, those are called as derived data type. So as an example of derived data type, we have array. Array is also derived from the other data types. That means to define array, we have to take help of other data type. We will see one example. Here you can see this array is derived from the integer data type. This array is derived from the character data type, right? So that's why array is a derived data type. Now we will define array. An array is a collection of data of the same data type stored at the contiguous memory location. So see, in the definition of array, there are three main things. Array is a collection of data. So there is not single value or there is no single variable. There are multiple values or multiple variables. It is a collection of variables or collection of values of the same data type. What is the meaning of this? So see, if we have integer array, then all the variables in that array will be of type integer. If we have character array, so all the values in that character array will be of type character. If we have double array, so all the values will be double. Now see, one more thing about the array. These values in array are stored in contiguous memory location. What is the meaning of this? So all these values in that particular array are saved in adjacent memory locations, or in contiguous memory location, or in sequential memory location. One example. So see, this is one integer array. So how many values are there? 6, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So in this array there are 6 values, and all these values are saved in contiguous memory location. Suppose our first element is saved at memory location 1000. Just for example we are taking. So if our first element is saved at memory location 1000, and see, in C++ integer takes 4 bytes. So see, next memory location will be 1004, right? After that 1008, then 1012, 1016 and 1020. So see, all these values in this particular array are saved in contiguous memory location. Here you can see first number, right? So every number takes 4 bytes, right? So that's why next memory location will start from the 1004. So again it will take 4 bytes. So after this, third number will be saved from the 1008. Why? Because every integer take 4 bytes. So here you can see every array is saved in contiguous memory location. Whether it is integer array, character array, double array, float array, or any class array, all these values are saved in contiguous memory location, sequential memory location. Now, how array are declared in C++ programming language? So see, first is data type. So see, this data type can be anything, right? Integer, character, float, double, string, or even class name. Then we have name of the array. Here we will have name of the array. And in square brackets, we have to mention size of that particular array. For example, here you can see, this is the data type, right? Int. Then ar is the name of array. And in square bracket, whatever the 5 that we have mentioned, that is the size of array. Now, what is the meaning of this complete statement? We are defining an array of the name ar. How many elements will be there? 5. And all the 5 elements will be of type int. Now see, second example. Here we are defining one array with the name word. What is the type? Char. And what is the size? 6, right? So word is an character array. It has 6 elements and all the elements will be of type char. Now we will see how to access those elements. Now already we have seen array is a collection of elements, right? So see, here there are 5 elements. Here there are 6 elements or 6 variables, right? Now how to access them? So it can be accessed by the index, and that indices will be from 0 to n minus 1. Here n will be size of an array. One example we will see. Look at this example. Here name of the array is ar. What is the size? 5. And what is the data type? Int, right? Already we have initialized it with 5 numbers. So see, these are the 5 numbers, right? So in this array there will be 5 numbers. Now see, how can we access these elements? We can access these elements by indices. So here you can see array of 0, that will be 1. So see, this indices starts from 0 up to n minus 1. So see, n is what? 5. 5 means size of an array, right? Our indices will be from 0 to n minus 1. And here size is 5. That's why our indices will be from 0 to 4, right? So here you can see 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now see, this will be array of 0. This will be array of 1, array of 2, array of 3, array of 4, right? So in this way, individual elements are accessed or we can use them. Now we will see different ways to allocate array or to initialize array in C++ language. First way. So already we have seen. So what we have done here, we have initialized array. Here we have mentioned size. So see, in square bracket, whatever the number that we have mentioned, that is the size, right? 5 is the size here. And in curly brackets, we have mentioned values, right? So 5 values we have mentioned. So any value we can write here, right? So all those values should be integer, right? So here we have mentioned size and also we have mentioned values. And how we can access them? By indices 0 to n minus 1, right? So already here I have written. Okay. Then second way, here you can see. Here we have not mentioned size, only we have mentioned value. In previous case or in previous way, here we have seen. Here we have mentioned size and also we have mentioned values, right? But in second case, in second way, here we have mentioned only values but not size. So in such case, size of an array will be number of values that we are allocating to that particular array. So here we have not mentioned any size. How many values are there? 5. That's why by default size will be 5. Now third way, and that is most common way, to initialize array after declaration. Okay, once we have declared array, after that we are initializing. And how we are initializing it? By using loop. So we can use for loop, we can use while loop, we can also use do while loop. So here I have given one example. So see, here we have declared one integer array, right? So in previous case we have seen, while declaring array we have initialized it, we have allocated value, but here we have only declared it, right? We have not initialized or we have not allocated any values. Now see, we can allocate values by using any loop. So here in this example we have used for loop, but we can use while loop, we can also use do while loop. Now see, how can we allocate values by using loop? So see, here size is 5, right? So what will be the indices? It will be 0 to n minus 1. In this case, it will be 0 to 4, right? So see, this loop should run for n times, right? This loop should run for n times and initial value should be 0 and last value should be n minus 1, right? So see, this loop should run for n times. What is this n? Size of this array, right? And initial value should be 0 and this array should run till n minus 1, till this I value will become n minus 1, right? So this loop will run from 0 to n minus 1 because we have indices like that, right? Our indices will be from 0 to n minus 1. Now see, in first loop, I value will be 0, right? So for array of 0, we will allocate some value. Then array of 1, we will allocate some value. Array of 2, we will allocate some value. Till array of n minus 1. Up to that, we will allocate values. Now see, next way to initialize array. In this case, here you can see, here we have mentioned size 5, right? But in curly brackets, we have mentioned only 2 values, right? See, if I remove this 5, so what is the meaning of this? Here we have mentioned 2 values, right? So size of this array will be 2. But here we are mentioning size 5, but we are allocating values 2 only, right? So keep in mind, in this case, remaining values will be 0. So see, in this example, array of 0 will be 1. This array of 0 will be 1. Array of 1, that will be 2. But remaining values will be 0. Right? So see, array of 0, array of 1 and whatever the remaining values are there, by default that will be 0. Afterwards, we will see one example and by that example it will be clear. Now see, one more way to initialize array. So see, here we have mentioned size, right? But in curly brackets, we have mentioned only 0. See, again I am repeating. Here in square bracket, we have mentioned size. But in curly brackets, while mentioning values, we have mentioned only 0, right? So keep in mind, this is special case and in this case, all values will be 0. Here you can see, arab 0 is equal to 0, arab 1 0, arab 2 0. So all these values will be 0. So this is a special case when in curly bracket we are mentioning only 0. So all values in that array will be zeros. Now we will see some example for this. So see, here I have opened VS Code. So see, this is first example. Here I have defined one array and it is of type integer, right? Size of array is 5. Now see, to allocate values to this array, here I have used for loop. Here you can see. This loop will run from 0 to n minus 1, that is 4, right? So this loop will run from 0 to 4. Here you can see. Arab 0, some value will get allocated. Arab 1, some value will be allocated. Arab 2, some value will get allocated. So this loop will run till Arab 4, right? This loop will run for 5 times from 0 to 4. Okay. Now see, in second for loop, here we are printing array values on the screen, right? So in previous case, we have taken values from the user. And in second for loop, we are printing those values on the screen. Again, same thing. This loop will run for 5 times. It will be from 0 to n minus 1. In this case, it will be from 0 to 4. Now see, here in this example, what we have done, here we have defined one array with the name word. Size of this array is 6, right? And this array is of type char. Now here we are giving one message to the user to enter 6 characters. Now see, this loop will run for 6 times, right? Initial value will be 0 and last value will be 5. So this loop will run from 0 to 5. So see, in first iteration, we will allocate value for word of 0. In second loop, we will allocate value for word of 1, then word of 2, word of 3, up to word of 5, because size is 6. So this loop will run for 6 times from 0 to 5. Okay. So see, in this loop, we are taking values from the user. And in second for loop, we are printing those values on the screen. So see, again this loop will run for 6 times. It will be from 0 to 5, 0 to n minus 1. We will run this. So see, I am opening terminal. First, we will compile this program. So see, G++ add1, right, dot cpp. Okay, press tab. Okay, press enter. Okay, so it is compiled, no compilation error. Now we will run it. So I have mentioned A. I will press tab. Okay, now press enter. Okay, so enter 5 integers. So see, suppose I am entering 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so you have entered following integers, right? Now next, enter 6 characters. So see, suppose I am entering A, S, D, F, G, H. Okay, press enter. So you have entered following characters, right? A, S, D, F, G, H. So in this example, we have seen integer array and also we have seen character array. Okay, now see, second example. Now see, in this program, we will see different ways to initialize array. So here you can see, this is my array 1. In square bracket, we have mentioned size, that is 5, right? And in curly bracket, we have mentioned values. Now see, second way. So here we have not mentioned size. Here you can see. For my array 2, in square bracket, we have not mentioned size. But in curly brackets, we have mentioned some values, right? So already we have seen. In such case, by default, size of array will be equal to number of values. So what is the number of values? 5. So by default, size will be 5. Okay. Now third example, my array 3. So here we have mentioned size 5. But while mentioning values, we have mentioned only 2 values, right? So what will be the remaining values? Remaining values will be 0. So see, 0th index 7, first index 9, and remaining indices values will be 0. Okay. Then next way, in square bracket we have mentioned size 5 and in curly bracket we have mentioned 0, right? So in this case, all values in this array will be 0, right? So already we have seen that. Okay. Now see, this for loop will print values from the my array 1. Now see, this second for loop will print values from the my array 2. This third for loop will print values of my array 3. And this last for loop will print values of my array 4, right? Okay, so see, we will run this. We will compile it. Okay, so our program name is array2.cpp, right? Press enter. No compilation error. Now we will run it. Okay, so see, elements of my array 1. So there we have mentioned size 5 and also we have mentioned 5 values. Then second, So there we have mentioned 5 values, but in square bracket we have not mentioned any size, right? So see, by default size will be equal to number of values. Then third way. So see, here we have mentioned only 2 values, but size we have mentioned 5. So remaining values are zeros, right? Okay. And last way. So in curly brackets we have mentioned only value 0, right? And because of that all the values are 0. So see, in square bracket we have mentioned value 5, right? But in curly bracket values we have mentioned only 0, right? So because of that all values are 0. I will provide Word file and program codes in my Udemy course. You can download it from the resources. Okay, so we will meet in next video. Thank you.